Hello, this is Jon Speelman with the video version of my latest column for February the 1st, which is column 236, I believe. So, I've entitled it, not particularly interestingly, Attack and Defense. I think we'll take out the finding, just hidden ideas. And I've got a couple of games. Nothing very, very special today. So I've got a game from the 4NCL last month against a German girl. She's in between school and university, decent player, and I outplayed her in the opening, but then I started going wrong and I ended up forcing a draw. And the interesting thing, I've given the whole game, is that when I forced a draw, there is a win, but it's very hard to see, I think. I've shown it to Grandmasters who've certainly not seen it immediately, so I didn't feel terrible about missing it. And the other thing is that my brain had started to go a bit soggy before I forced the draw. First, I'd missed a couple of fairly obvious things, and then in my analysis I put my queen on prise. Obviously you're not necessarily going to do that. I just put her on a square where she could be taken. So I wasn't very impressed with myself at this point, and I decided to take the draw. And there's a hidden idea, a very well hidden idea, winning idea with the attack. Then the other game I've got, I said I've been watching Wijk and enjoying it enormously. I think it's a tremendous tournament with all these young guys beating the hell out of each other, and obviously the youngest guy is the 14-year-old boy Erdogmus, who won't be 15 I think till June, and who Magnus Carlsen has called the world's strongest ever 14-year-old. He is extraordinarily good. He got +1 I believe in the tournament, which is, so he absolutely held his own. And his last round game, which I was streaming, I don't stream very often but I do it occasionally, was this game against Bluebaum, and he defended himself really very well. So I'm going to give those two games, that's all today. They are in column 236. So we start with this game against Louise Bashilina. Okay, so I'm playing some moves. She plays a Slav. Everybody goes bishop d6 nowadays. A lot of people do. Magnus has played b6 recently. Of course, they used to go bishop d6. That's the old move. I don't know if a6 must be a move as well. Here, I just went bishop b2, castles, and she took, which is actually perfectly playable. Perfectly reasonable to recapture b5, bishop d3, but more fun to play a4 because it's that much harder to deal with. It's not a move you want to deal with. Of course, knight b6 would be a mistake because of e4, by the way. That would just be really stupid. Knight b6, question mark. Where's my question mark? Sorry, I've got it on my keyboard. e4. So you can do a couple of things. You can actually play for e5 or c5. c5, bishop c4, a6 is perfectly reasonable, perfectly decent way to play. But she went e5. I took. She went queen e7. And I played h3 very quickly, thinking this is quite nice. But actually this is a position where black can play e4, precisely because there's a tempo against white's bishop. It wouldn't be possible if there weren't. And, well, it's an interesting position. I went h3. I did afterwards wonder if I could go bishop a2. And I'll give you a little bit of the analysis. If knight g5, check here, take queen takes is a line. Queen to there, knight to there, and now you have to go, I think you should anyway, go queen g3 now. And that is, well, I think it's what you're supposed to do. And queen g3, you swap the queens. I had a similar position against Shreyas's black, slightly different. He had the pawn on a3, which is better probably. And I drew eventually, though I was worse at one point. Anyway, so, and also I wondered about, yeah, that's right, bishop a2, e4, knight d2, and actually the engine says ping knight c5. I might as well tell you, if you have a look at an engine you'll find it, because if pawn takes knight, bishop h2 is much stronger now, because you can't go king takes knight g4, king g3, because then queen d6 is at least, queen e5 leads to checkmate. So that's also interesting. Anyway, h3 was played, and she should go e4. The line should go here, 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 here. Knight d5, knight e4. Knight takes, queen takes is useless because takes, check here. Here, bishop d2. Bishop e6, or indeed bishop f6. Bishop f6 must be quite a good move, I think. Is that just giving black the advantage? Followed by taking twice on d4. So definitely not a great line. I don't know if bishop f6 is better or worse, actually. Let's just see what the great engine says. Sorry, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to go alt and f2. Alt and f2, not Windows and f2, sorry. Got a new keyboard and it's not a very happy little thing. Alt f2. Is it going to do that, or have I got another game open? No, it should be giving me this. Alt f2. Oh Christ. What's going on? Why is this not out giving me a kibitzer? That's that. Sorry. Home. Add kibitzer. Sorry, add kibitzer somewhere down here. Engine. Add kibitzer. And yeah, let's have Stockfish 17.1, which is the one which is my default. Is it going to do this? Isn't bishop f6 just very good for black? Bishop f6, rook a1. You can just take and you win a pawn, and it's better for, definitely better for black, or at least equal. So let's do that. I'm sorry about the faffing. Yeah. So so you can't go queen e4. You have to go knight takes, and then you get pinned after this. a5 is a good move, and this might be very, very slightly better for white, but it's certainly not great. So it's a possible way to play. It's an idea. This didn't happen. After h3 she played that, and now I have a tempo to do this move. And the big thing about this, now there's no bishop h2 check stuff, so now if she goes e4, knight g5, I'm really winning the e-pawn for nothing. So she goes rook e8. No, she doesn't. If rook e8 I have knight g5, and if h6 I have knight h4. I go here, and she took, which is probably wrong. So you have to decide which way to recapture on d4. I think it's completely obvious you should do this. You have a very, very, very slightly weak pawn. You have a line for your bishop, you have a line for your rook. This is not a great move. Actually, the engine doesn't like knight h4 particularly. I thought it was a good move at the time. They can go rook e8 with the glorious threat of queen e1 mate, but I just take to clear the back rank, come in, and this is pretty disastrous, I think. I think you just take, and I don't know what the best way to do this is. Taking the rook is good enough anyway. did that first to threaten knight g6 check. Stop doing that. Now go here, here, here. And with a huge attack, and if queen g7, you have rook up, takes, takes, here, takes, 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 here, check. With a winning advantage, obviously. So that was not a difficult variation, but quite a satisfactory one. And okay. So it doesn't go. She doesn't go rook e8. She goes queen d6 first. I go g3. She moves her king because I've still got bishop h6 and queen g6 ideas. And she plays. I play here. This was the first one, and I hadn't noticed queen b4. It's not at all a strong move, but I was expecting queen e7. So I went back. Actually, if she takes, I should not play bishop h6, but this is the best one, because now queen e5 loses outright to bishop f7. If she goes back, I hit her. Hit her. What's going on here? Why is this being so difficult? And actually the best move is rook d1. Knight g7 obviously is a good idea, but there is this then. Threatening to go knight f3 check, and that's mildly irritating. It doesn't work, but you can just double rooks first and they don't even get that. So that would have been very bad, and she went back to b6. I thought that if I moved my rook to e1, she'd have queen d4, which would obviously be an annoyance. And if so, I actually did this move just to get, because I wanted to play bishop b1. I wanted my rook that side. Could maybe have tried to bring it up to a3 as well. I don't know. She went there, and now if knight f5, I thought the knight g8 was a move, or was it the move before? So I actually found a good line. I went here, here, knight to there. And now I very quickly played d5, which actually is a good move. But given that I hadn't noticed pawn takes pawn, bishop c3, knight e4, it was a pretty stupid move, even though it is good. The cleanest way to do this is just to go here to threaten d5. Got to block. Rook to there, threatening rook e5. Best they can do is this. Now if they go back, you do... if they go here... sorry. Oh, I've lost it. Sorry, it's being a little bit jumpety, isn't it? If you go rook e3, queen to there in this move, and they resign. Very dirty trick, just the end of the game. So best, you have to take this rook. Takes... no, you have to take it. Take, knight e4. Now rook to d1 to d4 doesn't work as a queen f1 check, which is annoying. Don't think rook e1 is working. So, because there's knight g5, and so the best thing to do is just to take this. They've got a rook and pawn against two bishops, but you've got control of the centre. You've got f4, f5 happening. Your kings come to the centre, your bishops are good, and this is basically a winning position. It's not going to be any fun for them at all. Still, they could have tried it. She could have tried it. D5 takes. I was really annoyed by bishop c3, knight e4, so eventually I took queen here. Knight back is forced. If king g7, rook c8, and knight f5 wins immediately. And then I repeated moves to my annoyance, but I couldn't see anything better. So the question is, in this position, is there something better to do? Let's turn this off now. I've got lots of analysis. Sorry, I have to do this. Right. So I have to do this. I did that. I should have gone here, here, check here, and I couldn't see the win. Have a look now, if you haven't, and see if you can find a good idea for white. The first move is sort of obvious, but it's not clear what it threatens. If you see the threat of the first move, you'll suddenly realise it's absolutely devastating. I'll give you a chance, and then the move is this. Still, can you see what white's threat is in this position? It's difficult to see just for because it is, because of your expectations of what moves threaten things when you've sacrificed a rook. So the thing is, knight g6 isn't a threat, but queen d7 is an immense threat, because it will threaten both, after you swap queens, knight g6 mate and rook h7 mate. So it'll win the house, the garden, and basically anything else pertaining to the property. And it wins. The best move then is bishop g3. Let's try some other moves. f5 here, just take it. King takes, queen takes, this would be queen b7. Bishop a2, obviously winning completely. That's one of them. What's another one? Knight e7, queen h5 here. Check, take, queen there, check here. I mean, you can play queen takes rook, but who cares? And you mate him in a couple more moves. You go bishop h7, and you can do it different ways. You can go bishop to g6 takes f7. I'll give the remaining moves. Might as well here. And there we are. So that's that one. Now, what else is there? There's queen c7, doesn't help. Rook a6. Now it's preparing to play f5 as a defensive move. You go here first. Rook d6. Yeah, if rook d6. Sorry. Rook d6. Just take it. Do you take this? Don't you? Take. Threatening knight g6 check, rook takes. Rook takes. Basically resigns here as black. I mean, it's completely hopeless. The piece is so good. So that would be the end of that. And rook a3. Yeah, rook a6, bishop f5. Say queen c6. Queen d7 resigns. Completely destructive. And the only other move, the move you probably play, I think, is bishop g3, and that's a little bit. You can't recapture because of rook d8. So recaptures rook d8 would be a mistake. So you go check here, take this, take here, and there are various ways to play this position. The cleanest is to play rook to there. Actually, bishop here, check here. This is also very good indeed, basically winning. But you know, you have to be a little bit careful. Whereas it's more forcing to play rook g1, knight e7, queen over here, knight g8. Might as well. Bishop there, knight to there. Why is this being difficult? Bishop g8, check, king d8. I haven't got an engine on, have I? So I don't know why it's being difficult. There can't be that much going on. Maybe it's finding we got the television on as well. Maybe that's too much for the little darling. Anyway, because that's an internet device. Anyway, this is winning, and I've got another one. I think I'd go a little bit further. Yeah, knight to there. And one way to win is to do this, check. Be very unsurprising. It's very unsurprising that it is winning. Bishop there's a good move. Queen to there, check. There. Some strong move. Queen to there, queen c8. I assume rook a7 is completely hopeless. Rook a7, I can probably just go bishop e4, I suppose. Probably, yeah, I'm going to rook to here. Then I can just go here, can't I? That must be the end of that. I am still recording, aren't I? I mean, I'm a bit worried that this is being a bit... Yeah, I am, yeah. Okay, and that's that. Because now... Queen b4, I've got rook d8 check, so you can go here. I think that's no other way to get a check, really. Rook to there check. Okay, so there are lots of ways that this is trivial-ish. I mean, you'd expect it would be. I mean, why wouldn't it be winning completely in this position? You can't really get to give checks, can you? Okay, so that's the first game. The second game is this game by Erdogmus yesterday, which was really rather splendid. So it went. I haven't looked at the opening so much. I was streaming, as I said. Same opening, actually, yeah. This one, okay. I think this is almost certainly preparation. If bishop h2, king h2, pawn takes knight, you just play f3. Put your bishop in d4, have very good bishops, can try to attack later as white, maybe. Pretty good position for white, actually. Unpleasant for black. So he went takes, knight takes, and d4. d4 is the move you want to play, but of course white goes here. I could also go rook ad1 maybe, actually. I wonder if rook ad1 is a good move. And maybe then you can go some move where you go... What does he do after rook ad1? I hadn't thought about that, actually. Let me just... Again, I'm going to put this engine on. So if rook ad1... Oh, sorry, I'm miscounting the pieces. Pawn takes knight, takes, black's got too many pieces. That's why, I'm just being stupid, right. So he went knight e4, h6, now rook ad1. So the thing is that if rook ad1, you just take the knight, take, must be at least equal for black, I imagine. It's 4 plays 6. What does the engine think? Yeah, it likes black. Unsurprisingly, because black is completely safe and has a rook and 2 pieces. So we'll give that as a line over plus. Line over plus. So rook ad1 question mark. So d4, knight e4, h6, rook to there, pawn takes pawn. Actually, the engine prefers bishop a6, but nobody would do that. He would go here. Obviously not queen b6, rook d6, with destruction. And he played queen e7, which is a good move. Still controls d8. Queen b6 is possible, and then actually queen b3 might give white a slight plus. On a very good day with a following wind, possibly. Okay, you went here. Queen g5 is bad. I had a hallucination you could do rook ae8, but then just this wins completely. I just, you know, sometimes your brain goes soggy. As we said, but he went queen e7. Takes is really what you have to do at once. Takes here. So we get to this position, and black has to find a defence. And basically by elimination, you find that bishop g4 is the only move. I thought about bishop h3, because if pawn takes, you can go queen e3 followed by rook f8 and get some ending where you might just about be okay. If you can get to a rook ending, I thought you might take everything and go into the rook ending, and then with the double pawns I thought you might be holding. But bishop h3 loses outright to rook f1, lots of swaps and f7, and then just take the bishop and you're a pawn up and a pawn ending. So this is the only move. And now your man actually did... Oh, by the way, if king f8, rook to there, check. Is that. So we'll go king to there, question mark. I'm sorry, I have to peer. Just can't be held, can it? So, and now he played rook f1, and the game ended as follows. Rook to there, takes. And by doing it well, he was able to give perpetual check. Obviously you can't go to e4 because you lose to queen g2, and they agree to draw because it is just perpetual check. Right, excellent. Now the thing is that he could have, I thought at the time that instead of that, queen g4 was much more dangerous, and I missed something. So queen g4, queen e3 check here, and the question here is how does black defend? And to see the defense you have to see something hidden again. I thought you had to double rooks, and then I was not at all happy about rook f8, queen f5, which in fact is probably winning. The reason being that after queen g5 you swap the queens and play rook d7, and you get to winning pawn endings eventually. It's not trivial, but you do win. But the defense is actually queen f2 is the defense. And so I was thinking about this, thinking, why is this a defense? Why does queen e6 not win? And can you see why queen e6 is not winning in this position? Because it looks as though it should do. It looks as though you can do that, because if b5 you play rook f1 and you win. And otherwise, aren't you going to be preparing to play h3 and then rook to the 7th? Or if he goes rook f8, well, so why is queen e6 not a winning move here? And the answer is that after queen here, you don't do this, question mark, sorry, I have to put the light on again, I'm so sorry, question mark, rook f1, which just wins. You just go, you go here, and if rook to here, it's a motif I've never seen before actually. You go takes, takes, and unpin, and because of the back rank mate you win the bishop and you're a little bit better as black, and therefore after queen e6 rook f8 white has to make a draw somehow. So very interesting game, with a lot of calculation, and well done Erdogmus, who is a fantastic calculator. Right, I'm going to stop now. What is going on? This is, for some reason it's very slow. I'm just going to see when. So we're February, aren't we? And we are 2026, so presumably the 28th. So presumably it's 1st of March as well I'll be seeing you. Assuming that that works. Must be, mustn't it? 28th, yeah. So I'll see you again with column 237, or with 236 at the moment, aren't we? On the 1st of March. I hope you've enjoyed this, and cheers then. And here we are, the usual, if it's not broadcasting I'm going to scream, and you won't know anyway, but you can hear me, could hear me scream, and instead I'm going to turn it off.